Hey everybody, welcome back. I got Daddy Milestones grind and feed for me for my baby chicks. Trey's supervising. The cows just got fed, and as you can see, look at this grass. It is tall. So one of the problems with tall grass is things hiding in the grass. So I got that 3-point mower all ready to go. He's gonna grind the feed for me, and he'd better hook up that 3-point mower for me or he's gonna hear about it. So I'm finishing up my chores today, and one of the chores that I had to do, I'd put off, is my baby trees in the backyard are awful inviting for the deer who are hiding in this tall grass. So since I took down this old chicken coop here and duck fence, I had it all nice and rolled up. So here it is, and I have to wrap some trees in the backyard. So let's go see what's going on. Okay everybody, so I am wrapping these trees. If you look at this little pear tree, it is probably a third less than what it started out as. So I came out here today to start wrapping this, and there was a branch that was like 24 inches long, snipped right out of the top middle, and there was a second branch missing from there also. So 1, 2, 3, it has 4 branches, and the deer came along and snipped 2 off. Possibly 3. I only found 1, which means that they ate the rest and nibbled on it. And it was a nice thick branch too. So I had that happen to one of my trees before. So I showed you that when I was trimming my trees during the winter, and that tree has been a hard time coming back. So this is my matched pear tree, and you can see how my fence is all wonky around it. When I put this tree up and the fence, I did not consider the height of the fence. So I had to put 2 layers around it. So it's, you know, probably 10 feet tall, because it's probably 4 or 5 feet tall fence. And I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it's probably 8 feet high. I think it's 4 foot tall fence. So I'm taking that down because when I got into that shed to look at my duck fence remnants, I had a lot of this. Yeah, that's probably 4 foot tall fence. So I did the same thing on this tree also. And it doesn't take long for the deer to find them and come after them. So this one, I'm also going to take it down and do a single wrap, just because it's so annoying to try to open this up to weed whack down in there. And if you look and see, I put these black guards on there for the weed whacking because I killed a peach tree by weed whacking, because I cut it open and then the snails and slugs in the ground got to it. And I don't know why, but I learned that DE, diatomaceous earth, can help with the slugs and the little bugs. So I started sprinkling those around my strawberry plants last year to help prevent that. But I still have to weed whack. So yeah, that little black corrugated stuff helps a lot, and you don't have to put it very high either. So I just, real easy, wrap it around. Almost done. 1 more to go. So see, I just real easy wrap it around the edge of my first post. Go all the way around. You can make your circle as big or as small as you like. The tree's gonna grow, so I like to make it big. Nice and spaced out, because with my very first cherry trees that the deer killed, they had gotten to too many of the branches, and then the cherry trees died. So when I replanted them, I made them nice and broad. So when I cut my fence, you can see here, I leave a little extra. I cut in between the 2 sections of fence, so I would cut it here in the center. And that way, I don't even have to use the clips, which make it so much faster for opening up the tree for trimming. And then, and I can't do this without gloves on, but with gloves on, it makes a huge difference. And this fence is a lot stronger than the other ones that I was using up. They have this fencing in different gauge, so consider that when you're buying it. This is livestock fencing, 2 by 4 inch livestock fencing. it works fantastic for trees. It's not super cheap, but it's gonna be a lot higher quality than just your homeowner backyard stuff. There. So see, I just put a little bend in that. You know, if you want it secure against a post, you could latch it onto one or none, either way. Let me see, it's real windy today. The sky will not clear up, but those deer are still coming around for a free meal. So if you have it nice and snug, then it's not going to go anywhere. I like to have, you know, 1 or 2 clips in the past, but I'm just going to try it without. And see here, I have to remember about that when I mow. So I'm going to rewrap this one and this one so that I can be done, because it is late. It is almost 9 o'clock. We still have plenty of daylight, and I still have a lot of fence, and this is heavy. So if I use it up, I don't have to haul it back. Okay, we are back here in the orchard. I have got a nice little find to share with you. Taking a break, having a little popsicle with the kids, and I've got some supplies in hand. So, I've got my popsicle, and I've got zip ties. They're also referred to as cable ties. These little cable ties zip right around anything you need to tie down, and it makes fast work of covering up your fruit trees. So I've got this netting, and you can buy it by the roll. I believe I bought a 50-foot roll at Tractor Supply last year, and I used it to put a roof over my chickens. It helped with aerial attacks, but today I'm using it on my fruit trees. So you can see here, see that little fuzzball? That is a peach. So last year, this is a tree I just planted. It set fruit very quickly. It was only in the ground for about a week and a half. And it's been here on the farm for about 2.5 weeks. And this is my old fruit tree, and I'm not seeing any fruit on it. Oh, there's one. There's one little itty bitty fruit right there. You see that? So, I don't know if there's any more. I don't see any other fruit on it, but I've got lots of dead branches on it for some reason. So I'm going to have to look that up, because this fruit tree was really, really thick. And this year, it's just stressing a little bit, but it's putting out some new shoots down there at the bottom. Now originally, my main branch of this had died, and this came back all off of it. So I let it grow, and here it is. Okay. If you saw my early video on pulling T-posts, I've got myself set up here to pull these T-posts out. It probably doesn't need to be protected anymore from the deer. They'll go after the little branches, not the bigger ones. But I'd still like to have it caged. And I'm going to set those T-posts out a little further, because the tree's just gotten bigger. I'll tell you a mistake I made, and I made it again this year, because I did it the same. See how that is facing with the nubs out? I can't pull the T-post because my handle is facing in to the center of the tree, and I can't get a good leverage on it. So I'm going to work at it a little bit, and if I can't get it, we'll have to pull them out with the tractor. Right, Trey? Mm-hmm. What a silly mistake. And I did it again this year with my brand new cherry trees. See that? Made them facing out because that's the way the fence would attach to it. Silly, silly mistake. Learn from my mistakes. So, this year, these fruit trees right here are 2 different varieties of cherry. I think this one's a tart and that one's a sweet. But I have cherries growing on them. And last year I just kind of blew it off and thought, oh, I'll get to it later. I was surprised at how fast the bugs and the birds got to those. So I was thinking, this is a 2x4 square. The birds can still go through here. So I think since I have so much, I'm going to drape the net down quite a bit lower, just to kind of deter the birds. Because like here on this one, the boys are helping me out. They've crushed the cage in. So I can see that the deer have been coming up here nibbling on it because of it. See that? So that has got to be moved. This all needs to be moved too, Trey. See how the deer come up and eat it? That's got to be away. So I'm going to cover up all my little fruit trees here with this netting and show you how it goes. Okay, nothing fancy, but I hope it'll do the trick. I just rolled it over. It's folded in half on the roll, so remember that. You're getting twice the width of what it actually looks like because it's folded on the roll. So here's my netting. I just drape it over the top. You can hardly even see it. So we'll have to keep an eye on it to make sure birds don't get hung up in it. I've heard of that happening. There was just recently a news story where a hawk had got caught in a fence at a driving range. So it's just zip tied on. You can snip these ends off if you want. I left them there for me to see easily when it's time to harvest the trees so that I can just snip that off and get into the trees. And of course, scissors will work. Knives, a little harder to do. I did find a couple more peaches up on this one, and I accidentally pulled off the first one I showed you. But there's another one right up there. This tree is way too big for me to be able to drape. Right up there, that's about 8 feet. So a little too tall and probably plenty big enough. Trey's been raking up the tall grass mounds around here, and I think Dad got up a little close here. So the deer had been nibbling on that. It really could use a 4th stake. I've always done 3 stakes around my trees, but as they get bigger, 4 is nice, and it helps to keep those sides from pressing in as the deer try to reach in, or, you know, with the mower going around it. So maybe this one will get switched to a 4 stake now that it's a little bigger, and we know that the deer are still after that size tree to eat them. But super excited about getting some cherries this year and some canned peaches, and in a couple years we'll end up with some more pears. So we'll do some canned fruit with our honey instead of sugar, and it's going to be just delicious. It'll be an awesome treat for all this hard work we're doing. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Remember to hit that like button. Bye-bye.